Welcome to 411 now. Good morning, Tammy. I will hope all is well on the Pacific Coast. It is, well, at least here, it is very cold though. It is currently 19 degrees. It's probably about 24 degrees in here in my studio. Like a giant dumbass, I turned off the power yesterday in here while we had the air ducts cleaned, and I forgot to turn the power back on. Yay. So it is cold in here. Good morning, Reichart. Adam, good morning. Brr, that's nippy. Yeah, it is. Nipply. Oh, man. I walked in here this morning and you could see my breath as I was talking. I was like, oh my gosh. I got like 40 minutes. I've got 3 space heaters around here cranking it up along with the heat going itself, trying to get the heat in here somewhat, reasonable. It's cold. That's my fault though. I did it myself. $55? Well, 55 is a decent temperature. Wish there was 55 here. I don't even know what the high today is going to be. I want to check. Ooh, today it might get up to 37. 37 degrees today. Uh-huh. Ice rain here in Louisiana. Oh, well, you stay safe out there, right, Cart? Adam Brock is ready for spring. I'm ready for any season other than what we're having now. This has been the weirdest like couple of months. We've never seen weather like this, and it's actual not just my opinion. That was according to the weather meteorologist. We've never seen weather like this ever here. Last week we had 2 days back to back where it started off. The day was in the mid 60s. Then the temperature dropped 30 degrees. We got snow. Then it came out and the snow starts melting and the temperature rose back up. We then got downpouring rain, hail, and then the temperature dropped again, and then it snowed, and then the sun came back out. That was all within 1 day. 1 day. The next day, it did it again. Bizarre as hell. We've never seen weather like this ever. Shof will get paroled at her 10-year mark. Anarchy Extra. I'm not familiar with the case for Rachel, so I couldn't answer that. I'm sorry. I'll take extreme cold over blistering heat any day. It all depends on what the blistering heat is. I don't deal well with temperatures over, say, 90, because I can't regulate my body temperature correctly. So when it's cold, I'm the extreme end of cold, or I'm hot, boiling hot, or when it's hot outside, I'm freezing cold, or I'm extremely hot. So there is no happy medium for me ever, unfortunately. I can't remember what they call it, hypothalamic or something like that. Is damage to my brain that controls my body temperature. It was 83 here yesterday. North Carolina has the most bipolar weather. Oops, it did it again. Yeah, it's my phone. The phone in the background. Sorry about that for everybody. Those are my alert notices that I'm live. I'm live. Jazz hands. Da-da-da. That's it. Thank you, Tammy. Hypothalamus. But I can't control my body temperature. So just kind of have to live with it. Francie, good morning. Sensible Crime, good morning as well. All right. So I wanted to talk about Scott Peterson this morning, everybody. Wanted to see what everybody thoughts were on Scott Peterson. So Scott Peterson's new trial rests on Strawberry Shortcake. That's her nickname, by the way. Lacey Peterson, 27, was killed when she was 8 months pregnant with their son. But move over to the other screen here so I can scroll up. This jackass may get a new trial. All dependent upon how they go about and they determine if juror number 7, Rochelle Nice, actually lied, and if her lie to get on the jury and influence the jury is believable, that it should be, the testimony where she actually convinced other jurors to convict is enough for him to get a new trial, or if she lied to get on the jury. There's a whole mess of things there. So first off, she lied about having a restraining order or being part of the domestic violence situation. She said that she was in fear of her boyfriend's ex girlfriend at the time, and she got a restraining order. That was the truth. And she conveniently forgot to talk about that or put that on the juror summons. And then on another question on the juror summons, she lied again about ever having be part of a situation like this. So I basically she lied to be on the jury. Did she actually influence the jury in their deliberations to a point where, or in their discussions, where Scott Peterson should get a new trial? And that's what they're deciding in California. So we know that his death penalty verdict was overturned, and he has now been sentenced to life in prison. But they nicknamed Nikki Rochelle Nice. They've nicknamed her Strawberry Shortcake because she dyed her hair red. That's why the media has nicknamed her that. But she was juror number 7 on the actual jury for Scott Peterson. Good morning, Mike. Baraka Hassan. V, good morning. What's upside down universe did we wake up in? I'm not sure, V. My universe is not currently upside down. So, A and K, secret. All right. Am I the only person who didn't like it when she got that nickname? It seems kind of insulting. Yeah, I mean, I didn't think much about the actual nickname Strawberry Shortcake for Rochelle Nice. I mean, they definitely could have called her something different. Did Nicole K ever Google Amber Fry, or was that just a theory? I'm not sure about that right off the top of my head, but I'm going to go with no. It was there's a lot of speculation. I don't think it was ever proven. To answer your question on that Starfire. Ragdoll, good morning, everyone. Good to be here. Woke up in time for the morning snow. Ooh, sorry about that. it's cold enough here where I am for it. But back to the Scott Peterson. So, we know his verdict was overturned. He now has life in prison, but there's other issues with the jury where they could rule a outside influence upon the jury while their deliberations were going on. I don't know what the defense is actually going to present besides the juror number 7, Rochelle Nice, and her line on the actual jury questionnaire. But they could bring up the billboard that was outside of the jury room. That was 27 feet by 61-foot billboard that said, that had a picture of Scott Peterson on it and that said guilty in giant black letters along the top, and then a phone number to a radio station to call in for people to vote. But that's obviously one issue they could address, but I don't know if they're going to bring that up. There was a member who was on the jury who was adamant from day one before they ever even deliberated that Scott Peterson was guilty. Now, we all know that Scott's guilty, but did he receive a fair trial with all of these influences that on the jury? One juror member lying to get on the jury, to to pass along her bias against Scott Peterson, and what he may have done without hearing all the testimony. Another juror member who is adamant that he was guilty before they went through even half of the trial or all the evidence. And then the billboard. Did Scott Peterson receive a fair trial? That's a fair question that we all need to look at. And I mean, if it was somebody else, if maybe, but there's a lot of evidence that that points to it was definitely Scott Peterson. Now, there was other evidence that didn't get presented in the trial that the defense and the prosecution both knew about, but they never followed up on. But afterwards, for the appeals, the defense obviously did follow up on it about other people who saw her alive after he supposedly left. A neighbor who said that they saw her and he wasn't around. So people would read her book though if she wrote one. I'm not lying. He's guilty and he's evil. I look at the entire thing and I try to look at it from an outside perspective on Scott Peterson, and I try to think to myself, all right, if this was a family member of mine, heaven forbid that a family member of mine would ever do something like this, or a friend or somebody that I knew, would I consider this case, fair justice? From knowing what I know at this point in my life, would I consider what he got a fair trial? Now, regardless of the fact that the evidence that I know, that points to what he probably did, he did it. I'm saying that I'm looking at the entire thing, in a bubble and saying, okay, the evidence that shows that he did it is one thing, but it has to go to an impartial jury, and they have to then look at that evidence, shift through it, and say, did this person actually do it? Again, if this was somebody, a family member, a friend, or somebody I knew, would I consider this a fair trial? And I hate to say it, but I don't think he got a fair trial. And there should have been juror nullification of it as soon as they found out that she lied to get on the jury. And she admitted that she lied to get on the jury. The other juror who was willing to convict before the trial was even over with, before they deliberated, I mean, it just screams, oh my God, what kind of justice system do we have going on here? If the state of California decides that he gets a new trial, I think he's going to be found guilty again. I'm actually pretty damn sure that he's going to be found guilty again. And then there's the waste of money, but worst of all, there is the having to bring the family back in and have to relive and rehash, in the media and their lives again, the traumatic events of what happened to Lacey. You have to put all of that into balance. You have to take the evidence and getting a new trial. How damaging is it going to be to the family, and to the witnesses, and are their memories and recall going to be the same as it was? And we know that it's not, but at the same, is it fair? Did he get a fair trial? Doesn't he risk death penalty again? Yes, he does, Mike. Yes, he does. If they decide that he gets a new trial, he gets all of the possible verdicts and outcomes all over again. If they toss out the first verdict altogether and they say you get a new trial, the state of California has to go back and start all the way over from day one, as if nothing has happened. And it would not be double jeopardy because he's already been found guilty once. If he was found guilty and then exonerated, then it'd be double jeopardy. So that wouldn't play into it. They can't go for the opposite. But he could be found innocent. I highly doubt it, because a lot of circumstantial evidence and a lot of evidence, direct evidence, also that he did it. So it's me again. That's the only one that I wanted to talk about today was Scott Peterson. Everyone lies on juries. Gianna Marie. I've been on probably a dozen different juries. I've never lied. I fill out the questionnaire to the best of my ability, and I've never left something out that was as important as the year prior that I had a court case, I had a restraining order, or that if I was part of a domestic violence situation, I never would have left that out on a jury summons, because there's not just one question on there. There's multiple questions. They ask them in different ways. If you've ever had to fill out one of those stupid jury summonses, well, I mean, not summons, but once you get there, the questionnaires, they're long and they're tedious, and a lot of the questions are asking the same things over and over again, but they phrase them in different ways, because the questionnaires put together by the defense and the prosecution, because that way they can go through and say, well, this person probably has a bias, or is more likely to rule this way. They're well documented and planned out. They don't just throw these things together, at the spur of the moment. But of the dozen juries I've ever been on, I've never lied on a questionnaire. I've never purposely left something off, to be on the jury, because I want my $37 for a week's worth of jury duty. Yay! But I don't think every jury lies, or every jury is filled full of liars. Mike, you've been arrested. Now, it doesn't mean that you're any worse of an individual, Mike. Everybody has mistakes that they've made in life, and the first person who stands up and says that that they think of you differently because of your past aggressions is a fool, and a liar in themselves. Because everybody's made mistakes in life. Some people make bigger mistakes. Some people make a lot of smaller mistakes. Good morning, Charles Bennett. I hope you had a wonderful week. Thank you for joining us today. 13 death sentences have been carried out in California, It's not just not used as often. Not often is used as Texas. Texas uses the death penalty. It was critically needed nurse, so I was always exhausted. I don't know what there's no executions. I think it would be interesting to be on a jury. Eh, yes and no, Ragdoll. It. I've been on some interesting juries. The cases were interesting, and I've been on some long, drawn out, extremely. You got to pinch yourself every so often just to stay awake. Boring juries. I was on a medical malpractice one a couple years back, and oh my, it was mind-numbingly boring as hell. Sitting there listening to doctors drone on about procedures and testing, and it was just like, oh my god, why are we here? And they ended up settling the case before it ever came to us to decide on it. They settled out of court. I think it was on the last day. They settled out of court. The person who was suing the doctor settled out of court. I think for it was some very minimal amount, but we didn't find out about it until later on. It was in the news, but it was very minimal. It was like $10,000. You couldn't serve on a jury. You used potty too much. Yeah, that's a viable reason. I've seen um, we go through it and the selections process for a jury. And first you fill out the questionnaires, and then they weed out a large portion of people just based on the questionnaire. And then they might bring you in groups of 10, 12 at a time. And at least where I am, they bring you in, they sit you down in the jury. Everybody else is in the gallery, so they have you come up in 12, and then they go through each one of you gets like a little card with a number, and then they if they have any questions, they'll ask like the last one I was on, I was juror number two. At least that was a number that they gave me. So I sat down and they asked me, "Do you know the defendant or the And I'm like, "No." "Do you know anybody on the prosecution?" "No." And I'm like, "Okay." And then they asked a whole bunch of other questions about like have you ever been part of a medical malpractice lawsuit, or have you ever been part of this situation, or have you ever sued somebody for in the past? And I'm like, no. And the defense was like, we're good. And the prosecution's like, yeah, we're good with them. I'm like, well, hold on. Uh, Nobody asked me if I know the judge. And they're like, okay, do you know the judge? I'm like, yep, he's my best friend. And of course, the defense wants to disqualify me at that point. But we've actually tried to work it out with if I show up with my jury summons, and my friend is going to be sitting on the actual case as the judge, that we kind of like try to move me into a different pool on another jury, since I've already shown up there, move me from this one to another one. So that way he doesn't sit on it, because otherwise I'd be disqualified, immediately. Well, the defense attorney, or the judge, or I'm like, yeah, just because I know him doesn't mean that I'm going to rule in some way or another. I'm going to have some bias. I just happen to know the judge. I'm glad I've never had to eat cheap pizza as a juror. I've never gotten cheap pizza. Never. That I actually Reichardt, the only time that we ever got pizza was we got Pizza Hut. And out of all the juries that I've been on, I've only gotten pizza once, and that was Pizza Hut. Um, we get sub sandwiches a lot. They bring in these big long party subs, and so it's not like an individual kind of like your sub. What's your sub order? You know, and they take your order. They bring in big old party subs, and then it's cut into sandwiches. You know, like individual sandwiches, so you can take a piece of it. And if you don't like the lettuce or whatever on it, you just take it off because they don't care. And then they bring in a tub full of ice and sodas, and they say, "Here you go." And bottled water, of course, is there, and hot tea and coffee. Lots of coffee. Wait, is it normal for jurors to be fed? Good morning, Rebecca. It depends, Rebecca. If you're during the trial itself, for jury deliberations, I mean, or during the trial, the defense and the prosecution, they take lunch. The jurors may get lunch as well. Like, well, you're gonna get a lunch break. If you're sequestered, they feed you, they put you up in a hotel. They don't give you necessarily a budget so you can go somewhere and spend money, but they do have like a cafeteria where that you can go get food. At least in our courthouse here, we do. We have it's they have like a taco bar thing. You can eat tacos, or you can order cold sandwiches from like this thing. Basically, it's like cold sandwiches you get from a what do they call it? Like kind of like a convenience store sandwiches. But is it normal? It is here. I mean, I can't speak for everywhere. Um, see, trying to think if I've ever been on a jury where, well, you're not allowed to leave. At least our courthouse, you're not allowed to leave the actual premises because you couldn't go anywhere because where our courthouse is and where it's situated, there's nowhere nearby to go get something to eat. There's nothing but car lots and shopping mall, like strip malls around it. So and then there's a ice hockey ring and an event center. So there ain't nothing within a couple miles of anywhere to go get food. So maybe that's why they feed us when we have jury duty, as opposed to us. Okay, you have 30 minutes. Good luck. You could go get a coffee, but you're not allowed to talk to anybody. You're not allowed to let anybody know that you're a jury member because they could, try to influence you. So you're not allowed to read the news or talk to reporters or in some cases, if you're not sequestered and you go home at the end of the day, you're there. They tell you to give you instructions. The judge will. You're not allowed to read the newspaper, or watch the evening news or research it online. That's basic instruction. But to answer your question, here where I am, yeah, it is normal here to be fed. We do get lunch. Is sequestered if they will give you lunch there, and then if you're sequestered, dinner, in a hotel. So San Francisco Bay used DoorDash. I've seen that. Not here locally, but I've seen it. I don't know how they say that when it comes to jury pool, and the jury summons being sent out. Excuse me. Here it's based on tax records and DMV. Those who have actual a driver's license and they use tax records. They say the database is all mixed in together, and that's where they pull the names and addresses to send out jury summonses. I get one every year in March. I guarantee it. Every year I get one. And since I was 18 years old, even when I wasn't here and I was in the service, they still came. The jury summonses still came to my mother's home every year. I don't know how the hell I'm on the list, but it's always something. But I think the most interesting case that I've ever sat on was we were only on the jury for a day, and then they discontinued. They sat us. They selected us. They had the alternatives, and then the case was a attempted homicide. But we never got to hear any of the evidence because as soon as we went back to the jury room, they called what they call it. It's kind of like a sidebar, just the attorneys and the judge to speak in chambers. And then they called us back in and they sent us all home. They said the case was not going to move forward. It didn't settle. The guy didn't take a plea or or anything like that. They just decided to set it off to another date after they already picked us. But I got my 37 bucks, I think it was, for jury. Yay! Try to figure that out. 37 bucks. It cost me $40 for a babysitter for 2 hours, and I was there for 6. Yeah. Good morning, Angela Moore, USA. You can be excused and then take off jury duty if you're normal. Formally file with a reason. Yeah, that's true. You can be removed. Yeah, but I've seen people lie about a lot of shit, to get out of jury duty. Um, Pre-planned vacation. They're not going on vacation. People just don't want to serve on juries, and that's one of the issues we have in America. With our system, people I can't take off work. I can't find daycare. They can. A lot of people can. They just don't want to. It's too much of an inconvenience. I'm serving in the military. I mean, there's a lot of reasons to formally get out of jury duty, but they still will send you the notice anyways. And if you don't reply, you get your ass in trouble. I have clotting disorder and I have multiple blood clots. Is he on a blood thinner? Oh, I'm sorry about that, Tammy. Why do people never get called for jury duty? That's a good question, Francie. That's a good question. And good morning. Good morning, Smith Shoes and Big E, aka Eric. Good morning. And Semper Fi to you too, Big E. Um, why do some people never get called for jury duty? I don't know. That's a damn good question. It's just like, why do I always get called for it? Every year, same time, same month of the year, I always get a jury summons in the mail. Always. Short Nice, good morning. Elbow bump to cement shoes. Good morning. Oh, Rebecca, it's you could make more money recycling bottles and cans in a day than you could, when getting paid for jury duty. It is pathetic, but a lot of courts are that way. I know of court systems that pay a lot less than $37 a day. At least that's what they pay me here, $37 a day. If you get sequestered, it's still 37 bucks. And then usually it takes about 2 weeks afterwards to actually get the check in the mail. They don't give you a check as you walk out the door, at least not here. I got selected I got my jury summons and I got selected and we were in the pool, but I got eliminated in the pool afterwards. But that was in Tacoma once when I was living there. I got selected. I got my jury summons. That I managed to get internal bleeding by taking a turmeric supplement and consuming too much drink aspirin. Oh, sorry about that, sensible crime. Minnesota's $10 a day. K-Tween B YouTube. Minnesota's $10 a day. Yay. I'm not moving back to Minnesota to serve on that jury. And it doesn't matter how big the profile of the case is or how simple it is. Still the same amount. I wouldn't either. LOL. I'm lucky. I've never had to serve on a jury in Minnesota. Never, or Wisconsin. Never been called to jury duty there. I still have an address in both. I have an address in Little Falls, Minnesota, upstate Minnesota, up towards St. Cloud and Monticello. Um, and I have an address in Prescott, Wisconsin. Never gotten a jury summons to either one of those two addresses because all my mail is packaged up in a vanilla envelope, and my sister sends it to me. You know, periodically. Never consistent how when she remembers to do it. You're in Duluth. Duluth, I love Duluth, man. We used to go ice fishing outside of Duluth every year. Love it up there. West Virginia used to be $7 a day. Wow. $7. What the hell are you supposed to do with $7? Good days and sensible crime. It's because me to lose my arm a few years back. I'm sorry again about that, Tammy. That must be awful. It's got to be hard. Huge learning curve. Lose an arm or a hand or a leg or something like that, and have to figure out everything all over again. Candy Apple. Good morning, Candy Apple. In upstate New York, you get $40 a day. Well, slightly more than what we get here. I get $37 a day here for jury duty. And that I have to say that is for states only. I've never been called to a jury for a federal case, not once. In my entire life, of all the times that I've gotten jury summonses, I've never been called for a federal case. Now, I don't know how they would work that for feeding the actual jury. I would assume that they couldn't even do DoorDash or Uber Eats or something like that. It would have to be something that would be worked out with the federal government because the jury, okay, where the actual courtrooms are in a federal building itself, and you can't get into more than just a lobby unless you're because the floors below it are the FBI, Homeland Security, and NSA and stuff like that. Those are the floors below the actual where the courtrooms are. The courtrooms are not at the top floor, but they're like third or fourth from the top. So that'd be like the fifth and sixth floor are the jury the courtrooms. So you couldn't get Uber Eats to come in there unless they came in and delivered just to the lobby. But again, I've never served on a federal jury. I've never been called to a grand jury either. I've been called to just regular jury duty every year. And March is coming up here a couple of days. So somewhere, in the next week or so, I'll get a jury summons in the mail. I know it. It's always at 8 a.m. in the morning. Well, my mom was on jury duty in Ohio in the 90s. It was $6 a day. Thanks, Will. It wasn't as bad as I thought it was going to be. Yeah, but still, Tammy, it's a life-changing event. I know from myself, obviously this past year I had, ligament replacement, in my knee, and it was difficult to get around for quite a while. You know, and I've had shoulder surgery and stuff like that where I've still had been able to, I was able to use my hand, but I just wasn't able to raise my arm or anything. But I mean, you know, and when you just trying to get used to doing things with one hand, it's hard. So my heart goes out to you, sweetheart. Definitely does. We need to make bets on whether or not Will gets summons. I I can guarantee it. I can guarantee I'm going to get one. I'm getting them every year since I was 18. I don't know why. Maybe I if I would have not shown up, you know, or or something else, you know, not been an upstanding individual. I don't know. I wouldn't get them, but I get them every year, same time. Now, even during COVID, I got them for the last 2 years. That we didn't have, I didn't have to actually appear in person for neither one of those. It was by Zoom. So they eliminated me by Zoom on that. One because I knew I didn't know the person, but I knew of the business, and I didn't even know they were being sued until I got called to the jury. You know, Zoom thing that was kind of weird. Being at home and you couldn't have any electronics like cell phones or anything that were on with you, or you had to no you couldn't even mute them. They had a whole list of different things you weren't allowed to do. But they were selecting jurors that way. You actually had to appear in person when, if the case you actually got served on set for it. But they eliminated everybody by Zoom. You should have to do it after your recent surgery. Get a felony on your record, Will. Would that disqualify you for a felony? I I don't know if that's an automatic disqualification in my state. I'm going to Google it. Will a felony remove oh, okay. According to, because I'm on my Washington. I live in Washington State. In case you don't know, I'm on my Washington State courts questionnaire. It says if you have a felony, you lose your civil rights, and you will not be allowed to serve on a jury. But if you've had your civil rights restored after being convicted of a felony, you can serve on a jury, but must disclose that you have had your civil rights restored. So you can if you had your civil rights restored. That's the best disposition you can have. So, crime, thank you. Sharp nice. It does here in Michigan. So a felony would start fire. It would be correct here as well. I don't know if that is across the board in every state, but it definitely is here. If you've been convicted of a felony, it does remove you from being able to serve on a jury unless you've had your civil rights restored, is what the state court says here. When I was dating on a dating site, I used to list no felony convictions as one of my traits. That's cool. Sounds like Little House on the Prairie. Hell, if you were quarantined at home on jury not allowed to use tech or read newspapers. Well, no, they restrict for like during COVID. You weren't allowed when they did the actual Zoom. They called us by groups for a Zoom, and then you had to fill out the questionnaire and send it back in or drop it off in person. And then they had the Zoom questionnaire with the attorneys with groups of, I think there were 9 of us at each time. So they you had a time that you had to log on, to the Zoom meeting, and then it's not actually Zoom. I can't remember. It's like Court Doc something or another. But anyways, it's kind of like Zoom. But you logged on to it, and then if they had questions for you, they asked them, and you saw the attorneys on the screen, and the judge and the court stenographer. So, good morning, Pink Camo. Candy Apple. I'm one of those people who should have been a lawyer. I wish I could have be a permanent juror because I love the courtroom and watch all the cases on YouTube. I know I'm weird. Candy, I'm almost certain if you look in your local area, if you're anywhere near a courthouse, there are people who are professionals at just going to court cases and sitting in the gallery and watching cases. Maybe they're not on a jury, but they're there in the gallery in the back, and that's all they do. I know a whole bunch of people who, used to do stuff like that, the retirees. And they would take like, okay, this is an interesting case. I'm gonna go sit in on this case. So they would just take a seat in the gallery and watch a case unfold. And they made sure that they were there earlier in the morning, so they always got a seat on, high profile cases, and they sat around and watched them. You can do that. That's your right. For real? Wow. You're going to do that? And who says you can't, go back to school and actually get your law degree? The only thing that's stopping you is you. I know my mother-in-law, she's 67 and she's still in college. She's one of these people though, that just never stops going. Oops, forgot to turn the camera back on. I'm still here. Haha. 63? Yeah. 63, 60. My mother-in-law is 67. She refused to, stop going to school. She's a firm believer in the mind is a terrible thing to waste, and the moment you stop exercising it is the day that you will lose it. So she continues to go to school to learn things. Even if it wasn't in college, she'd be doing something else. Learn a new hobby, a new, skill, something. In the last, since she retired, she's picked up woodworking, gardening. Well, she's always been, had a green thumb, but now she's doing remodeling work herself in her home. The only things that she refuses to do is electrical and plumbing, but the rest of it, she's like, YouTube is just a wealth of information. So she's used that and the home and garden channel to figure out how to remodel the home, and update it. She's done some damn good work. It's taken her a little, probably longer than it would, like a contractor, but she's having fun, and as she figures it out herself, she's learning from her mistakes, but it's keeping her active. I helped her yesterday. We went to Costco, and she bought a new mattress at Costco. Wow, that's not the place to sell mattresses, by the way. I mean, she got a damn good deal on it, but still, the carts that they have are not exactly made for holding a mattress. They have the flat carts, but even those are hard to put a full size mattress on. A queen mattress. You got to keep on exercising that muscle, just like every other muscle in your body. Cement shoes will be 46 in 2 months. Do you get along with my mother-in-law, Will? Yes, I do, right, Cart? I do. I get along with my mother-in-law immensely. she's kind of like a pal. We do all kinds of things together. We go to wine tastings and off Broadway plays. You know, we help. We both. The entire family owns different parts of a family farm that we inherited from her dad. You know, one of us, some of us inherited homes on the property, other ones inherited the land, other ones, inherited, the items on the property. But we get along great. Have to wonder. Have a wonderful and safe weekend. Well, bye, Jennifer. I'm sorry if I missed you earlier. I hope you have a great weekend as well. Pushing 42 here. But I was going to say, cement shoes, 46. I don't know. I'm trying to remember where I was when I was 46. I was here. Um, where was I on my 46th birthday? No, I know I was not here. I was living here, but I wasn't here. I think I was in New York on my 46th birthday, either that or my 45th. I was in New York. I celebrated my birthday there. Well, I hope you have a pleasant birthday. In case I miss it, I know it's in a couple months, but I hope you have a happy birthday. Francie, something that they draw lottery seats for jury. I mean, for the gallery. I've seen that happen once. Once they had more people who wanted to watch the case, so they once it got to they got the families of each person in on it, and those who were going to be witnesses. Those ones took up the first like three roles, and then all the other roles in the back. They actually had a kind of a lottery for people who wanted to come in and watch the case. I've seen that happen. You're almost a 49er, cement shoes. Almost 46. That's awesome. The in-laws are important too. I've had three sets. Loved two of three. Rupal, good morning. Good morning, Rupal. How are you doing, sweetheart? I hope you're having a wonderful day this morning. Bad enough we have the Browns here. I think the Cleveland Browns, the football team, I think they're going to make a turnaround. I've been more positive on their where they've been moving as a team the last couple of years than I have in a long time. But hey, you never know. Any given Sunday, any team can win. Thank you so much. I'm okay. Just about likewise. What a Super Bowl this year. Didn't watch it. I mean, there are a lot of people, voting, rooting for the Rams around here. And I'm like, yeah, I could care less. They just weren't two teams that I was all that interested in. Happy early birthday to Short Nice as well. A lot of youngins in the chat. Surfire. Bengals didn't win. I was going for them. Well, Reichardt, that's where I placed my money. At the end of it though, I ended up losing $38 plus the fee, so 42 and a half dollars. So $42.50 is what I ended up losing on the game. If I missed much, Rupel, 1654 there. Rupel, in the beginning, I talked about Scott Peterson possibly getting a new trial, and that's how we got onto, and that morphed into jury and courts, and not much. I'll be here on my birthday. It's on Saturday this year. Yes, you will. I will be here. I hope to see you too. Halftime was the best since Madonna got carried out like Cleopatra. I heard that they were supposed to have like a hologram of Tupac, and stuff like that, but apparently they didn't do it. And then I see that they a lot of media outlets tried to shame Snoop Dogg for smoking a J before he went on. Hello, mother effers. It's Snoop Dogg. What the hell do you expect him to do? It's like, you think Snoop Dogg just gave up smoking weed for that day? No. If he wants to sit in the stairwell and smoke a J, let him. Come on, it's legal in California. But I saw that on the news that people trying to shame him for smoking. It's like, come on. Yeah, but at the same time, when Hank Williams Jr. came out, in the concert where I paid money to go see him play, and he came out wasted off his ass. People just like, that's just Hank Williams Jr. I'm like, come on. I paid good money to see that concert just to watch him, stumble through the first couple of songs and then get so wasted he couldn't, sing anymore. Media is yeah, you gotta watch what they say and with a fine tooth comb. They want to shame one person for using one substance, and a show, and it's totally okay for another person. How ironic that Snoop gets high with Martha Stewart and she's the felon. Right? Yeah, that's true. Snoop's he's never been completely had his hands clean. There's been some instances in his past. I kind of like the halftime this year. 50 cents in his little Hispanic. Samantha Mustard McDowell, I'm celebrating on his behalf. You do that, sweetheart. You do that. Smoke weed is Snoop Dogg's signature. Come on, right? But I was watching the thing on Good Morning America the next day, or I think it was, or a couple days later, and they're like, "And look, here's Snoop Dogg, and a picture of Snoop Dogg smoking a J. And I can't believe he's doing it before the show." And I'm like, "Really? Was it Michael Strahan? Is that what his name is? The former football player? Yeah, Strahan smoking his shit at home, but now he wants to shame Snoop Dogg. Please. Found not guilty of murder. That's true. Well, I was hitting that right, Kurt. I didn't want to bring it up in case nobody knew about it. But yeah, when I said he hasn't had his hands clean, and he's had run-ins in the past, being that murder. Audrey Jensen, good morning. Welcome to News and Chat. We are on the chat portion of the stream this morning now. No doubt. Smith Jew, she was incarcerated with my fellow hillbillies in West Virginia. I'm going to New York. Chit chat. Weed is legal now in New York, is it? Well, I'm in Washington State. We have here it's illegal for recreational and medical, and we're the only state that has a surplus this year of tax income, but they've decided they're not going to roll back the tax rates. They're just going to keep on putting it aside because the marijuana industry is booming. And if you're on the west coast of the United States, it was in the news the other day that Jim Belushi, John Belushi, both of them obviously are actors, but Jim Belushi, John Belushi's brother, is moving to Oregon, and he already bought a farm there, a marijuana farm, but he's going to be moving there full time from Chicago to Oregon. He will occasionally pop into, from his own statement, to the House of Blues in Chicago with Dan Aykroyd and his other friends. But he's moving everything he owns to Oregon to run a pot farm and business. I voted to legalize it in Jersey. When it regardless of how you sit on marijuana, if it should be legal or not legal, you have to understand that marijuana in itself became illegal in America because of a racist government. They wanted to, and they pushed the government to make it illegal because migrant farmers were smoking it on their off time, and they could not figure out how to make money off of it. So they started an entire, misinformation campaign about, around migrant farmers smoking marijuana, and they're going to come rape your daughters, and then and then it's a gateway drug and all this stuff. It's smoke and mirrors, but they did it to punish the migrant farmers and the African American community. That's why marijuana was listed, in the same classification as heroin, and they kept it that way forever. And when it comes down to health side effects, you can't argue with the science behind it. There has never been somebody who smoked enough weed to die from the actual being too high. Where how many people have died from the side effects of alcohol? We push alcohol everywhere. It's the in thing. If you want to be an adult, you want to be cool, alcohol's the thing to do. But, at the same time, we say to everybody, no, don't pick up that weed, man. You smoke that weed, you're going to become, a heroin addict, or you're going to start using cocaine, or, you're going to beat your wife, or, or whatever. And the scare tactics are still out there to this day. Now, I'll freely admit, I was not a supporter of marijuana. I never used it as a teenager, never used it as a young adult. It wasn't my thing, yeah, I definitely, drank beer as an underage adult. Where, that was my thing, but I never, I wasn't a supporter of marijuana as itself until my wife got breast cancer. And when my wife got breast cancer, and she had, I won't get into it then, it's a lot longer than I want to talk about. But when she got breast cancer and she got to the point where she couldn't eat anymore because the chemotherapy and radiation was killing her faster than they could get rid of the cancer, because that's basically what chemo is. We're going to give you this poison to kill the cancer, but we're hoping that we kill the cancer faster than we kill the patient. That's what chemotherapy is. Until I watched her, drop over half of her body weight, and we called it body by chemo. Until you watch someone you love slowly wither away in front of you like that, you'll never understand somebody else. You have to actually physically watch it and be there, involved and invested in the outcome. And people started bringing her baby food jars of marijuana, and the $1,000 pills that they sold us in the pharmacy, the anti-nausea medication that was supposed to be able to help her eat, didn't work. And this thing here actually helped. At that point in time, you'll think of it in a completely different light, and then you're going to ask yourself, why has the government and been lying to me and to you and to everybody for so long about this? I mean, there's a lot of other positive side effects that I can trot out there that I've seen personally that have helped other family members. Everything from vertigo to other ailments, everything from arthritis on for CBD oils and extracts and stuff like that come from marijuana, and how they've positively changed and restored life to people. It's amazing, and here we are, and it took until the 2000s before this thing was available, and it had been there all along, and all the science that was behind it, and how it could help, has been squashed by the American Medical Association and the pharmaceutical companies out there. They didn't want anybody to know about it. And you have to ask yourself, what else have they been keeping from society that is out there that can help? You have to logically look at it at that point and go, well, gee, if marijuana can help restore life and get people off of opioids and everything else and all this other shit that they've been pushing for years that are miracle freaking drugs, and this thing you can grow in your own living room, why is the government always been pushing this way? Because they get the money from the big pharmaceutical companies. I don't want to sound like a conspiracy nut, but that's the truth. Confirm with your personal doctor, but I believe it does not. 2018 was all about the money. I've never heard of Delta 8. Sounds good. I don't know what Delta 8 is. I like Delta 8 gummies. Louise, good morning from Michigan. Native Americans used it medically and spiritually. Yes. There have also been huge benefits to what they call microdosing of psilocybin, the magic, hallucinogenic mushrooms, and peyote. They've microdosing in the use can, along with microdosing and helping with therapy for people with PTSD, soldiers coming back from war, people who've lived through other traumatic events in their lives, getting them past, and helping them through the PTSD with microdosing. They found that it has huge side effects. But it's going to probably be another 150 years before the American Medical Association, starts suggesting it. So, do you want to? I'm not saying it's for everybody, but that's the way it's been so far. Anti-nausea drug. Open is only good intravenously. Peyote is awesome, says Rykart. I've never done peyote. Louise. Love this channel. Well, thank you, Louise. Thank you very much. A friend of mine's husband works at a cancer research clinic. He said that they've had vaccines for cancer 20 plus years, but can't get approval because of the money they'd lose. And okie dokie, good morning. Welcome. Um, yeah, there are a lot of things out there that I don't know about the money part of it because they lose money, but there are definitely different drugs that are on the market that are outside of the United States that don't have to go through the rigorous protocols of the FDA and to be approved that have definitely shown a lot of benefits, especially for those who suffer from rheumatoid arthritis and what was it? Shingles, that drugs that are out there outside of the United States that have been approved and are used and actually help or eliminate or put both of those in not remission, but it helps with the side effects a lot. I just happen to know about those because they affect family members of mine, but you can't get it. You can't get those drugs here, and a lot of people go to Canada and get them where you can't get them in the United States. They used to have a bus. They used to, here they used to meet in a local supermarket that would take people from here to Canada to fill their prescriptions. I think they stopped that though because the government cracked down on Americans going over the border to purchase medications. Not that they don't, I know people who do it the opposite direction to go to Mexico, but you don't know what you're going to get in your medication in Mexico as opposed to Canada. You know you're going to get the right medication. It's just a hell of a lot cheaper. Well, I've been fighting stage 4 rectal cancer since 2018. Totally understand what you're saying. God bless your wife for being such a fighter. She's amazing. Jennifer, I'm really sorry to hear that. If I could tell you one thing and one thing only, if you get anything from this at all, is never give up hope. Hope is a powerful thing. Without hope, I don't know how either one of us would have ever made it through it, but just don't give up hope. I've battled PTSD. It's creepy to see the ads for ketamine on Facebook. It's creepy. I don't know. Depending upon if you can find someplace V that where they can do it therapeutically. And the studies that I've read or the information I've read on um, different, Steve Ellen and other ones where they've used it in microdosing along with therapy. They used them both together. Uh, it could help. New England Scratcher said hello everybody. Everyone watch him instead of this guy. Oh, aren't you an asshole? Thank you for coming in and telling us that this morning. I'm not familiar with New England Scratcher. I've never watched his content, but I'm gonna be absolutely sure I'm never gonna watch it now. Thank you. I'll make sure to put that on blast on all social media to stay away from that channel. I hope you have a wonderful day. I like Polk County Sheriff, but Polk that's Brady. Yeah, I love watching his news conferences. But for the press conference, I think he still arrested people and for selling small amounts of marijuana. I think it's silly. We have more people incarcerated in America for small time possession charges of marijuana than anywhere else in the world. We incarcerate the hell out of people here in America, everywhere. And even in states where it's legal, if you give up now, ends, which was trying to get to where you are, don't give up. That's true. Well, Spinny, I'm certainly never watching your channel. And I will tell everybody in the scratcher community out there to never watch your channel. Do you think how rude do you think that is to come into my chat and tell people to not watch me, but to watch you instead? Hmm. Oh, oh, what happened there, Spinny? Oh, you just got your ass banned? Oh, wait a minute. Hold on a second. Let me make sure I put it out there to everybody on the forum for the other scratcher communities. Yeah. There you go. Have a nice life. Yeah, I screen capped it. Short, nice. I read it. I read it to myself twice before I screen capped it. Now I saved it. Good morning, Christina. I hope you are having a wonderful day, Christina. Well, thank you for joining us this morning. No, it was pretty much stop watching this, you know, me, and watch their channel, and then they came in to make sure that I knew that they were that channel. So I just sent a notice out to the community along with the screen cap of it on the forum on Facebook. See, I happen to like watching some of these scratcher channels, and now that's their fault. Their fault. They didn't have to say that at all. Even if they were trying to say that somebody else was saying that, they didn't have to do that. Oh well. Clap on, clap off, scratcher. I want to get one of those. I wonder if they still sell them on Amazon, the clappers. That'd be nice to get something like that for in here for like the studio lights. You just clap on, clap off the lights themselves. Well, I've got one of those dial things that you plug into the wall, for a timer, so it turns on lights, at certain times. We have those in the house as well. So even when we're not home, it turns on the lights, so it looks like someone's home. I must be behind in the chat. That bonehead to get by me. That's okay. Cement shoes. Get one, Will? I will. I'm gonna look for one of those after the stream. That the clappers, because I mean, in here right now, there's six lights on right now in here. And some of these I have to turn on individually. Like those ones over there are all on a switch, but these other ones are I have to turn them on individually. The little cord or the toggle switch. Scratch my back, it's itchy. I was clap on, clap offs for teens talking. Turn on. Good luck with that. Okie dokie. I don't know if there's any way that would ever work. Teenagers. I've lived through that once with my daughter, and eventually my son will get there. He's only 5. He's this many years old. No. Let's give a look at the teacher look. Trying to close this other screen and it won't let me close it because I muted it. Well, my husband would love one of those mouth for my mouth when I start nagging at him. I'm sure you could probably need one of those for him as well, Ragdoll. I think we all annoy each other in our own ways. At least me and my wife, we annoy each other. She doesn't want to hear about the newest case or documents that I just got on some horrific crime. 5 years old. Yep, he is. He'll be 6 soon. Pink Camo. Couple months. It's like a blink of an eye. One day you're bouncing them on your knee. The next day, it seems like they're asking you for the keys to the car. It's just, I mean, my daughter is 26. It's like it just doesn't. Where'd the years go? Time went by. Yeah, just like that. I mean, one minute I'm sitting here and I'm like, hey, look, I got my first year down. Doing YouTube content. Next thing I know, I'm like, there goes 3 years, and now I'm on year 4 already. It's amazing when you think about it. Oh, but that's life, though. Life moved by pretty fast. How did Ferris say it? Life moves pretty fast. If you don't stop and take a look around once in a while, you could miss it. No more, no better, saying than what Ferris Bueller himself said it. How he put it. Don't. All right. Still trying to close this window. Keeps on popping me up in a little one. It won't let me close it. Stupid window. Oh well. I'll deal with it afterwards. Times ticks by slowly, Madonna. Don't tick by slowly though. Ages 13, 14, 16, and 18. I'm looking into mental health facility for myself. They go by. That is a wow. My heart goes out to you, okie dokie. I wonder how my mom dealt with it all though. You know that one time there was what four teenagers in the house at the same time. That my youngest sister is much younger than the rest of us. So about the time my sister was leaving, the home, my youngest sister was about to hit 13, but she's significantly less, in distance and age than the rest of us. Twins at 11 years old. Wow. What do the scissors do? LOL. I want one. The scissors thingy, like cutting paper. The leg thing. I don't know. That'd be my only guesses for the scissors. Samantha, my sons are 18 on the 28th of March. Number three will be 21 on the 5th of April, and the youngest will be 15 on the 8th. I'm into hibernation. Like Christopher David and Katie. Wow. There's no little cement shoes running around. No little ones, huh? No, it look couple up there, Rupel. It looks like Cement Shoes doesn't have any either. Children aren't for everybody. I'm only here who doesn't have kids. Everyone has offspring. No, not everybody. I'm sure there are others that in the chat as well who don't have children. Just remember, just because you see, like it says there's 27 here. There's 27 showing that are streaming and watching this directly on YouTube. It doesn't count the total number of people who are watching it through Twitter. That I've always loved that. Why YouTube doesn't show the Twitter? They know who's actually clicking on the stream link from Twitter. Why can't they count that all together as one? That's how many people are watching, but it's separate. I'd have to actually log on to the stream itself on Twitter to see how many people are watching, but I know people are because I stream to Facebook, Twitter, and to YouTube right now, and that's what I'm doing right now. So you could be watching it from Facebook, but that counts in the YouTube numbers. Moms of twins are heroes. How do they do it? I could barely handle one. I just love my nieces and nephews. Yeah, there you go. I got kids and grandkids everywhere in the States. That's cool. No matter where you're at, right, Cart, you can always stop and visit, family that, if you have the time. Understand you're out there working. Amy is I'm an identical twin. Oh, that's cool. So as an identical twin, Amy, do you and your identical twin, do you have things where, you're able to complete each other's sentences or when the other one is hurt, even if you're not in the same location? I heard some twins can, have that ability to know when the other one's in pain or, or in angst or whatever. You say not for everyone. I do. Would love to make a human. Well, it ain't that hard, Rupel. That's twin propaganda. Okay, well, I don't know. I'm not a twin. Um, I have my brother is 18 years older than me. Then I have two sisters, then me, and then I have two younger sisters. So when I growing up in my household, I had my mom and I had four sisters. So I didn't have a twin. I had a lot of people who thought they knew what I was thinking. I was like, I wasn't even thinking that. I'm in trouble. I'm in trouble again. I don't know what I thought. I don't know what I was doing. Don't you don't have that connection with your twin? I made the mistake of asking my mom what she would have named my twin if I had one. Now, whenever I hear the name, it gets me a bit. Will, are you Gemini? Yes, I am. I am a Gemini. My horoscope is a Gemini. June 19th is my birthday. My luck turn into a TC psychopath, sociopath, true crime channel. Yeah, they say Geminis are split personalities, don't they? Sierra in 1968. Cammy, June 14th here, Will. Well, another Gemini. June 19th, I was born in St. Paul, Minnesota, at a hospital that doesn't even exist anymore. Scissors allow you to record a short clip of Will's live stream and share it on a social platform of your choice. Oh, I didn't know what scissors was. That's cool. Um, you can do that on YouTube too, can you? Like the share, or not share, but there's another one that's next to it, where you can share highlights of it. Hennepin County, Will, that's cool. I spent a lot of my formidable years in Hennepin County, especially in the Minneapolis area. Used to go swimming all the time in Lake Hennepin, which is in Minneapolis. There, it's going towards St. Louis Park. I lived in St. Louis Park, but I used to go swimming in Hennepin Lake because I was just always downtown, in that part of Minneapolis. I used to go to hang out at the Hennepin County Library. Yeah, that side of Minneapolis. My brother, his name is Nick. He loves America. He drove there when he was 21 in the 80s, and he tried to buy a house to live there. That's cool. My birth certificate reads I was born in sanitarium. It explains a lot. I the hospital that I was born at was Lutheran something hospital. It doesn't even exist anymore. It was a small hospital in Minneapolis. I mean in St. Paul, but they bulldozed it eons ago. I think it was back in the 70s. They got rid of it. But it was just a small hospital. I don't know if it actually says where I was born on my birth certificate. I know mom and dad's name are on it, and what I weighed, and stuff like that, and it's not unlike the birth certificates now. Like my birth certificate for my son has like a footprint on it, on and stuff. But I don't think they did that back then. For me when I was born. If they did, I mean, I don't know where they are. Live in Ireland now, which is a lot like the U.S. is area. People wonderful. That's cool, Rupel. Your brother lives in Ireland. Is he northern or southern or? Seventh-day Adventist sanitarium and hospital. I worked for a Seventh-day Adventist church. Worked for a restaurant that they had when I was in college. So that's my only connection to the Seventh-day Adventist religion. I don't have any issues with them. They don't have any issues with me. We little Will Feets. Looking for birth certificate, it's always lost. I have a safe. I'm the keeper of all the documents for everything in our family. People they have wills or living trusts. They bring them to me and I put them in the safe. For my sister, for her family, the deeds, the titles to their cars. Everybody's just always entrusted me to take care of all that stuff. So I have like a little filing cabinet thing that's inside of the safe itself, where it's got it, it's separated out. Like these ones they're color coded files. So blue are my sisters, yellow is my family, green is my mother-in-law's, and purple is my mom and her belongings. Well, my gorgeous peeps, it's time to let my herd of mastiffs run later, guys. Tammy, you have a terrific weekend, and thank you for joining us this morning. Thank you again. Southern. I've been many times and still do via Dublin. Love it. You meet fantastic Americans too. I want to get back. I want to get back to Ireland and visit my family and to the UK. I think it'd be great. I know I have a lot of viewers and subscribers, who are in the UK, Ireland, Scotland. I think it'd be a great trip abroad to sit down and have a cup of tea or coffee or something with everyone. But then again, there are a lot of my subscribers are here in America too. I'm looking forward to maybe this June. Maybe the restrictions will finally come off, and I'll be able to travel. It ain't looking so great for baseball though, because they may go on strike, and if Major League Baseball goes on strike, that means there won't be any minor league baseball either. Why do the gods hate me? Will, do you like veggie burgers? You love them, Francie? Um, one second. Francie, I just walked out to the freezer to check to see if we have any. I buy the Morningstar chick patties. I like those. I don't like the Morningstar garden burgers. Boca makes a good veggie burger. I like those. They're good. They're a lot less. They're lower in sodium and cholesterol than the regular, like a regular burger. But I mean, I'll admit I'm guilty as hell. I mean, I do enjoy a good flame broiled burger. I did momentarily there, right, Cart. I went out to go check the outside my studio here, down the hallway. We've got two freezers. And I went walked out to go check the freezer to see if I have any in here. They're probably in the refrigerator in the house. 6 cents a meal. Good morning. Put them in the air fryer. I don't have an air fryer. My sister keeps on telling me that she's going to bring me one, and I had to call her or text her and say, "Hey, what about that air fryer?" She's got two of them, and she only uses one, and she's like, "Oh, you guys can have the other one." She got them both at I think she bought one And then she won one in a raffle, and they're like maybe a week apart in like a usage. And I'm like, well, if you're not going to use the other one, I'll take it. And she's like, all right. And she keeps on forgetting. I keep on forgetting a reminder. Get them. They're cheap now. Yeah, but the one that she's gonna bring me. We have a toaster oven that we use all the time here because my son loves those party pizzas, so Totino's pizzas. Ugh, but he likes them. But we'll take the Totino's pizza and throw them in a toaster oven, and he does a little dance, where he stands there and watches the little thing click down until his pizza's done. Gotta run, Pink Camo. Bye, Pink Camo. You have a wonderful weekend. Thank you for stopping in this morning. I appreciate it. Stay safe out there. Hit those thumbs up, everyone. We use your air fryer often. Yeah, well, in our household though, we don't fry a lot of stuff. We bake a lot of our meals, or we use a crock pot. That I mean, I would think that those are the two most used items. Besides but we don't cook with a lot of oil or butter. And and when we make like eggs and stuff like that in a frying pan, I bought those what are they, green organic or green organic or something like that. The green frying pans that you see the infomercials on. I have two of those, and they work awesome. You don't have to put any butter in or any kind of oil in the pan at all, and the eggs just slide right out. In the UK, every kitchen has a kettle ready to make tea or instant coffee. I believe in America, you all have coffee makers. Samantha, not in my household. Well, I have both. I have a coffee maker, and we have tea. We have a tea kettle that is always ready to go. Um, Everybody in my household, besides me, they drink a lot of tea. My wife and my daughter mainly they drink a lot of cold tea and hot tea, but they're parts of like two different tea monthly subscriptions. They get different teas from around the world sent to them. My son likes iced tea. No sugar or anything. He just likes it plain. Yeah, 6 cents a meal. You don't like tea? There's some teas out there that you would be really surprised. The flavor that comes from you can get from a tea. I I've been skeptical, my entire life. It's like, yeah. I always think of like the old, was it Old English tea and like the breakfast time, like Sleepy Bear teas that my grandmother used to drink. Teas have come a long ways, and how you prepare it and how you store the tea makes a lot of difference. Coffee does rule here in the States. Yeah, you can go just about anywhere and get coffee. That's true. And you must stop by at my town. You're welcome, London, Canterbury, my flat apartment. I'll take good care of you. Oh, I know you will, Rupal. If I make it over there, and I hope I do soon, and I would love to, to sit down, with you and Samantha Mustard McDowell. If I make it over, where she is as well. Not that a lot of Americans don't drink coffee, but they're not my friends. I drink an absurd amount of coffee per day. I'm probably close to 24 cups a day of coffee. If I'm not drinking coffee, I'm drinking Red Bull or I'm drinking Rockstar. And I know it's not healthy for me. I'm aware of that, and my family tells me so every day. Herbal teas, herbal teas are good. Some of them. I mean, I know people who do the most ungodly things to teas. My wife and my daughter, they don't use sugar. They use honey, different flavored honeys with their teas. And I can't tell you how they pair it all together. They'll use like clover honeys with some teas, and and garlic honeys with other teas. Just like there are a million different varieties of teas out there. There are a lot of different varieties of honey. All of our bees are clover. That's their main, where the honey. It's more of a clover honey that we get from our bees. Espresso machine is awesome. I have an espresso press that's on my stove. I make a little espresso in the morning, straight, no sugar, nothing at all. A lot of newer generations are more hooked on sodas, other caffeine drinks like energy drinks. Yeah, that's true. Whenever my nieces and nephews come over, we always have to stock up on energy drinks for them. Inner peas, good morning. I will. Is Crystal still in Tea of the Month Club? Yes, yes. Inner peas. Her and my daughter both still get their monthly subscriptions to different teas. I actually pay for one. I don't. We're still not sure how my credit card ended up on the my daughter's or no, or maybe it's my wife's tea, but somehow it gets shipped to me, and it's charged to my credit card, but it's her account. We're still not sure how that happens, but I don't ever see my wife offering me money. Here, let me pay for the subscription. No, I just pay it. Coke Zero. I have Coke Zero here. I like the Coke Zero Cherry. I don't know if they have that in your area, but they make the seasonal orange one. It's really good too. I can't get that all year round though. I can only get it during the towards the holidays. But we always have the vanilla and we always have the cherry Coke Zero here. Just pay the bills. Yeah, that's true. I think if you like coffee, if you like tea or energy drink, whatever, moderation is the key thing. I mean, obviously, I don't moderate at all. I drink a lot of coffee and a lot of energy drinks. I I would even hate to try to figure out how many energy drinks I buy because I always have them when I have them in my truck. I've got one of those little coolers that plugs into the cigarette lighter in my truck that sits on the floorboard right next to because I have 4-wheel drive on the floor, but I have a little cooler that I actually it's got a little refrigeration unit in it, and I buy 6 or 7 cans, well 6 cans, and then of like one kind of like Rockstar or 6 cans of Red Bull, and I'll put those in there, and then I'll buy 1 can of like something else, or I'll buy a bottle of water. I mean, I can put 8 in there, but it 6 and then one at the top. So, but anyways, and it plugs into the cigarette lighter, and I actually took 2 pieces of metal and made 2 L brackets. So I screwed it in there and then at the floor so the thing doesn't move around on the floor. So I actually mounted it in my truck. So whenever I have to go somewhere, I already have, drinks right there that are nice and refrigerated as I go. I drink nothing but water and have lost so much weight. Flower Girl Power 67. Good morning and welcome to the stream. Water is the best thing for you. And that is true. I mean, I've had a lot of friends who switched to just water, and it's amazing just how much the pounds you'll shed off. When I was a kid, my mom made scrambled eggs and cheese and a cup of tea. I couldn't eat the scrambled eggs. My mom said I wouldn't leave the table until I did. I tried to hide the eggs in the tea. um, is my StreamYard on, Rupel? I do not use StreamYard anymore. I left StreamYard. I said goodbye, and I'm never going back. The streaming service that I use now is called Restream, 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 all one word. It functions better. It allows me to do like this morning, the split screens, and I've had no difficulties with it at all compared to all the times that I use Streamlabs and StreamYard. Just and they say that they fixed a lot of the issues, but I don't know. I gave them 2 years of my time on YouTube and streaming to get it all worked out, and neither one of them could ever figure it out or get everything working right. Where Restream, oddly, they were able to fix it, and if I have to put in a work ticket, they answer back to me almost immediately. And they always have live chat that I can go on, and if there's an issue. Where the other ones, you have to send them an email. If you send them an email on Friday because you're having a difficulty, you may not get an answer until Monday. If you get one then, or you might get a canned reply in between then. Restream, is it on right now? Yes, it is. Rupel, it is on right now. And that's the other thing with Restream is Restream. I can set it up so like right now I'm using Spectrum and I'm using Ziply, so I'm streaming using both of them right now. And I can split screen this, and I can set up one just to stream on using Spectrum, and the other one the main stream itself as just Ziply. Split them, or I can split them 4 ways, so I'm not using up all the bandwidth on one. I can set it up so I can actually make the screen 4 different needs, and each one of the 4 could have a different dedicated amount. I do that with Restream, and I can't do anything remotely like that with Streamlab, StreamYard, or streaming directly with YouTube. YouTube is actually making a huge effort to fix a lot of that because they realize that there's a lot of money in it, and that's where a lot of the innovation when it comes to YouTube comes from. They look at other companies where they're making money, and they say, "Wait a minute, we could get our dirty little hands in there too and make more money too. We can reach in and you know what? People are doing, they're able to set up Patreon streams and streams just for channel members. We can do that too. Well, how about we, super chat? Let's get in on that super chat. How about after the video's over with, they have a new thing, that YouTube is pushing now, where you can just watch a video on a channel, and there's a link below where you can click on and give someone a super chat after the fact. That'll all be rolled out by the end of the year for every channel in North America. But some people have it now. And it's in the beta though. For now, fancy. I was reading that. Fancy a call? Call me. Be funny. And funny for us all. Okie dokie. They have the authority somehow. Spontaneous. Cement shoes. What do you reckon? Will calls me or vice versa on this live. Be so fun and funny. I ain't calling anybody right now, Ripple. And every time I'm on Facebook, I keep on looking for you, sweetheart, but I'm never able to catch you at the same time. I know I totally made your day the last time I caught you, when we were able to chat then. That sounds over my head. I'll stick to doing flowers. Just what? Flowers are cool. Can't wait to think. All my tulips are starting to come up. They're just barely maybe about 3 inches out of the ground right now. Can't wait for my tulips to come up. I got a whole lot of tulips that I planted along the front of my house. It's within the HOA agreement. I can do that as long as they're colorful and they're tastefully, arranged in such a way and in the bed that doesn't disturb or detract from the homeowner's value. Living in an HOA sucks. You can't grow anything, but I can cut them and arrange them. Well, that's cool. Every week I buy cut flowers from a local florist for my wife. Um, she's got one vase has got daffodils in it right now, and baby's breath. What else is in there? I think there's something else that in the back, in the vase itself, and then the other one is tulips. I'm not sure where the tulips came from, but I saw them, and I was like, I get some tulips for her. But we have to be careful where we place them in the sun in the house because my son likes to take the flower apart. It's there's no love me not, with a daisy or something. He just tears them apart, tears the whole top off the flower. So all you end up with just this is stem and water. Daffodils are poisonous and should stay in their own water. It's good to know. I didn't know that. If I lived in an HOA, oh, I was sensible. I was trying to read that. Come back here, comment. If I lived in an HOA, I'd have to remind myself not to shoot anyone too often. The HOA board, I'm there. Some of their decisions absolutely drive me nuts. But I can't do anything about it now. I'm here at least for the next 26 years, unless I sell it and move. You never know what the future is going to bring. You know what you mean, dear? Comment makes me laugh. Malnourished while pregnant. And the vase making them die faster. Well, thank you for that, flower girl. I did not know that about daffodils. I try to make like a little bit of an arrangement for them instead of just buying the flowers and sticking them straight in the into the water in a vase and saying, here you go. I try to make them at least look somewhat presentable. You know, but I don't know everything about flowers. I know my wife loves them, and I buy them for her anyways. So, and I do it because she loves them, and that's all that matters. But now that I know that I can't put those in the vase with other flowers, I'll keep that in mind. That's true, Starfire. They tell us what we can do, but that's only with the front of our house. The curb, what they call it curb appeal. We can't paint our houses unless they're approved colors. You can't put decorations in your front lawn that are not approved. But in our backyards, not much of an issue there. Um, Most people here in the community only just have grass backyards. We have raised garden beds. I've got a big, huge playground, like a jungle gym thing from my son. That was here when we bought the house, and then I have two garages. Um, this was a garage, but it converted it into a studio. And then I have another one on the opposite side of the house. But they definitely tell you exactly what you can do with your home. But you have to agree to it before you buy the home, that you will agree to abide by the policies of the homeowners association and the board. New Zealand doesn't have a homeowners associations. It sounds ridiculous to me. It is, but it stops people from I understand like junk cars and stuff like that. That if you have a broken down car, you can't just park it on the street in front of your house, or have car parts or anything laying around in your yard. I understand some of those restrictions and how it makes the community look, but they go a little overboard in some of the things that we have to abide by. Um, we have a community pool. I'm only allowed 4 guests at one time at the community pool, and each of them has to. I have to, I'm supposed to hand them, give them a wristband that they wear when they're in the community pool, which we don't abide by at all. And we just like, come on, report. And if you don't abide by the rules, they fine you and all kinds of stupid shit. Told me I don't have a condominium. Personally, I told him to stay in a house as long as he could. Just bought a Toyota. Oh, you found a car, Interpeas? Well, congratulations. I hope you're enjoying your new car. Sorry about the accident again. That had to suck. Yeah, I know, right? Well, we got around that. I should put a picture on online on my community about that political signs. So this is what my wife did. She got one. It looks like a political sign, but it's not. Um, uh, if I don't know if you're familiar with who Ash is, from is he from Walking Dead? But it looks like it's got Ash on it, but it says for president. But it looks like a political sign, but it's not. I should post that on my community tab. We posted that in the front yard, and they came by and told us that we had to remove that political sign. And we're like, it's not a political sign, it's a comedy sign. And they're like, no, it's a political sign. It says for president. And we're like, no, it's not. It says that, but you have to understand who the person is. So glad I sold my condo. Well, that's good. Evil Dead. There you go. Ash from Evil Dead. Oh, I'll have to scroll up, Francie. Hold on. How are your neighborhood kitties? Oh, they're doing great. My wife keeps on attracting more. They come from everywhere now. I don't know where all these cats come from, to tell you the truth. And we know that they belong somewhere because most of them have collars and tags. That's a city requirement, not the homeowners association. It's a city requirement that you have to have tags for all your cats and dogs and show that they've been, they have their vaccinations. It's ridiculous, but a lot of people don't abide by it. But most people do. Yeah, I'd say a large majority of them do, at least. I don't know where they're all coming from anymore. Hey, I love the Dodge Chargers. I'd love to try drive around in one. I don't know if I'd ever own one like the Dodge Charger Hellcat. I've seen them. I've seen them. They sound mean. They sound like they look like they'd be fast, but I'm more of a classic. You got it. Yes, your car yesterday. Well, that's good interviews. Almost 3 weeks. Oh, Samantha, you got your kitty back too. Right on. There's my wife's the link to her YouTube channel. She does Minecraft videos. Thank you, Interpeace, for posting that. By the way, Will's wife has a channel. You'd like to chat and with her while she's playing video games. Yeah, she mainly does Minecraft videos, but yeah, every once in a while, I think she still plays another game. But right up my alley. Been updating my visit to the U.S. and the cars I took pictures of on display. One's originally unused. All my life, I've the community here thingy. We appreciate them. There's a huge car scene in the UK. Rupel, um, check out Hetero. Is it Heteropetroleum? Hetronina? Damn it! It's right there. I almost remember it. Um, look up if you want to find a link to it. Look up Wiki, Vin Wiki. There's several of their more recent videos on Vin Wiki talk about UK car shows. Classics all the way. I love the movie Cat People with Natasha. Oh, your 15-year-old plays Minecraft. You might enjoy my wife's YouTube channel, watching her play Minecraft. She's just like me. We keep the drama out, and keep people at bay. Some people who want to, spam it. She always has a couple moderators, that are working in there to keep it drama free. But most of the car sites, yes, but I go to UK classic shows. Listen, today is the 26th. I don't know where you're at, Rupel, but is it Egham? Egham. There is a car show on the grounds of Windsor Run Me Pleasure Ground, Windsor Road, Egham, UK. It's Petrolheads. That's tomorrow. Classic Cars on the Prom is coming up in Bournemouth International. I'm looking to see if one of these is going to remind me of what the hell the name of that group is. There's one coming up in Leeds. I will know. Francie loves car shows. One of these days, I'm gonna finish my truck. I have a 1971 Ford F100 that I've been, well, right now it's just a chassis and the motor and everything is off it and off the frame. I'm doing a ground up restoration on the entire thing, but that's just something that I've always wanted, that truck, from when I was a little kid. We used to have one on the farm that didn't have any doors on it. We just had a piece of rope where the door was supposed to be, that we used to use to keep us in the truck. And my grandfather actually had taken a piece of 4x4 post and had bolted it to the gas pedal and to the brake pedal. So, as kids, we could actually drive around on the farm with this damn thing. Yeah, talk about scary, right? No seat belts and a piece of rope that was supposed to keep us in. 16-year-old daughter just started working at Subway. She was featured on our town community Facebook page as an awesome, positive person for our town. That's cool, okie dokie. Right on. Remember James Dean style trucks, Will? James Dean. No, I know who the actor James Dean is. I'm not familiar with James Dean style trucks. Sunshine and hot dogs and the cars. There you go. Envious? No, there's nothing really to be envious about. It's probably going to take me my entire lifetime to finish the damn thing. I bought it off of. I don't want to use a derogatory term, but I'm going to call the lady a crackhead. She was definitely high on something when I went to go look at the truck, and she sold it to me for $400. And I was like, that is not even close to what the ad said. She wanted 2,000, and I was just like, what? How do we go from 2,000 to $400? It didn't run, but I was like, you know what? It's got a straight body, no rust, and I was like, I'm buying this thing. I was going to pay the $2,000 anyways, because I mean it's hard to find them, in good condition, with a straight body. But I was like, all right, 2,000 sounded good to me. And then I get there and she's like $400. I gave her the $400 and she signed the title. And her boyfriend ran out the door with the cash, and I was just like standing there in their living room going, okay, I guess I'll leave. Like, damn. Guess they needed their drugs more than they needed the truck. He made the 1950s truck prominent. Huh. I'm just not familiar with the name James Dean Truck, in relation to trucks. Jesse James, motorcycles. And I could think of some other famous builders of trucks and cars, but she's not James Dean. I think of James Dean. I think of the Porsche Spider that he died in, and how many tragic accidents were bestowed to people who bought parts of that Porsche Spider. There were James Dean died in it, and then the car went to scrap, and multiple people died or had tragic accidents with parts that came from that Porsche Spider that James Dean died in. It was like the car was cursed. Just found out that my older brother is addicted to crack. Sorry. I'm sorry for a time out for 10 minutes, feeling a bit sensitive about the topic. I'm sorry, 6 cents a meal. I didn't mean anything by it. It was just the lady was she was on something. It could have been meth for all I know. I just know that I showed up there with $2,000 to buy the thing, and the next thing I know, her boyfriend goes running out the door with the cash, and I'm just standing there, and she's just like off in La La Land. And I'm like, okay, I guess I'll just show myself out. I'm just glad she signed the title beforehand because I already had a record on the way to tow it, out. I made that guy's day. The tow was only $40. I gave him $200. I was like, here you go. Consider it a tip. Here in the UK. Hmm. It's like watching someone hitting themselves in the head with a hammer. Yeah. The abuse of all types of drugs kills everyone. It kills everyone and it kills the family just as much as the addict. Dealt with family members who've been, hooked on a lot of things, meth mainly. Destroys the family just as much as it does the addict. Tip people extra BC of COVID figured they would put up with a lot. Yeah, I'm sure Will didn't mean anything offensive. Sorry about your brother situation and understand. Put down the shovel helps the addict and the family. I'll have to look into that. Put down the shovel. It's a great name for a channel, especially if it relates to drug dependency. Great name for it. The hammer is better for you. It is. Well, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to wrap up this morning's stream there. Thank you, everybody, for joining me this morning. I hope you all have a wonderful weekend. Tomorrow night, we have trivia again every Sunday night at 5 p.m. Pacific Daylight Time. 5 p.m. No longer at 7 p.m. 5 p.m. But that's tomorrow. I hope that everyone can join us tomorrow. In the meantime, everyone have a safe and happy weekend. Love the triangle flag for American flag. Oh, the flag behind me. That's the memorial to my friend who died in Afghanistan. But thank you, Ripple. Thank you very much, everyone. Again, have a safe and happy weekend. If I don't see you, I hope I do. Hope I'll see you tomorrow for music trivia. Bye.